Smartphone.
This is my portion today. This is my portion today. The peace of God dwell in my heart. This is my portion today. This is my portion of joy.
All around the world.
This is my portion of joy. Joy of the Lord shall dwell in my heart. This is my portion today. The peace of God shall dwell in my heart. The joy of the Lord will guide my soul. The God of heaven will be with me. This is my portion today. Someday me chefa ene. Someday me chefa ene. Osura someday antama kumamu. Someday me chefa ene. Nanije me chefa ene. Anije me chefa ene. Osura anije.
This is Star Radio UK. This is Star Radio UK. All around the world.
The best radio show.
Are you ready to turn it up?
You are the great I am.
Your faithfulness is sure. Lord, I trust you. I know what you can do. I believe in you. Your faithfulness is sure. Lord, I trust you. I know what you can do. Strongholds are broken in the same name. No evil can stand your name. You are the great I am. We lift our hands and worship you. You are the great I am.
Miracles take place in your name, oh Lord.
Strongholds are broken in the same.
In your car,
At work,
at home.
on your smartphone.
This is Star Radio UK.
You are the great I am. We lift our hands and
Worship you.
you are the great I am.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Worthy is the Lamb.
Worthy is the Lamb. Worthy of our praise.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Worthy.
Is the Lamb. Worthy of our praise.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Worthy of our praise.
Is the Lamb. Worthy of our praise.
Hallelujah. Worthy.
Is the Lamb.
Worthy of our praise. Chains are broken in your name. Souls are set free in your name. No evil can stand in your name. You are the great I am. Chains are broken in your name. Souls are set free in your name. No evil can stand in your name. You are the great I am.
Chains are broken in your name.
Souls are set
Souls are
free.
set free in your name.
No evil.
No evil can stand your name.
You are the great.
I am. Chains are broken in your name.
Souls are set free.
Souls are set free in your name.
No evil.
No evil can stand your name.
You are the great.
I am. Chains are broken in your
Chains are broken in your
Souls
name.
are set free.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
This is Star Radio UK.
Welcome. The best radio show.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for star, R for radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Star Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820, or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Pram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Pram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Make that move now, this festive season, to your new home address at GHS Housing Estate. From now to 31st January 2023, we are offering you an amazing 5% buyer's discount on all purchases on our expandable 1, 2, 3 and 4 bedroom detached homes at Cochrane Villa, Pokwase, just 5 minutes drive from the interchange. The Mayflower and the new Hazel Courts at Kuntusi, 20 minutes drive from Achimatamo. Beautiful homes in a serene and gated community with flexible payment plans available. Call us now on 0544 347 980 or 0544 347 981. GHS Housing Estates. View it, love it, own it.
Turn it up.
Welcome.
Impossible you do, that is why you are Lord. The mighty things you do, that is why you are mighty. The greater things you do, that is why you are great. All the glory and honor to you.
You do, that is why you are Lord. The mighty things you do, that is why you are mighty. The greater things you do, that is why you are great.
This is Star Radio UK.
Honor to you.
Impossible you do.
Impossible you do, that is why you are Lord.
Mighty things you do.
The mighty things you do, that is why you are mighty.
Greater things you do.
The greater things you do, that is why you are great.
All the glory.
All the glory and honor to you.
All the glory and honor to you. The impossible you do. What a mighty God we serve.
Glory and honor.
It's just gone past 10 minutes after 4 p.m. UK time, depending on where you are. You're welcome to Faith Talk live on Star Radio UK. This and every Sunday from the hours of 4 p.m. I am fully set, super excited, filled with a spirit, buzzing with joy. And you know what? Because I'm surrounded by 3 powerful movers and shakers. They are the ones that makes it happen. They determine if you be born. They determine if you live. They make it happen. You know what? If our Savior had to come through one of them, then you know that they are very powerful people. And as we celebrate International Women's Day, you know what we're doing? We have to celebrate our very own. The women that has made impact, they are making impact, and they will continue to make impact should Jesus tarry. We as our station are super humbled to have them joining us to celebrate the women. You know, guess what? I believe it's next week or so. It's going to be Mother's Day as well. You know, the women are getting all the good times. But I'm KB Bossman. I'm going to be your host, and my guests are all set. And we're going to dive into gender equality. If you've received the link, do us the biggest favor of 2023 by sharing and sharing and sharing. Share, just send to a friend for a friend to send to a friend, for them to also share to other friends and family as well, so that we can all learn and enjoy. You know, you'll be amazed. I have in the studio another powerful God of God's creature, a woman that has made history, and so you don't want to miss it. You know, I am super excited. I'm privileged to have her, and you know what? I don't know about you, but you've got to learn from those that God has used to set the pace. Pace setters, I'm talking about, trailblazers, leaders of this age. And so, you know what? We're streaming live on Twitter. It's at Star Radio UK. We're also streaming live on Facebook, KBA Bossman Facebook page. Actually, I'm on Facebook page, Star Radio UK Global, Star Radio fan page. We're streaming also on our YouTube page. We're streaming on Periscope, TuneIn Radio, www.starradiouk.com, and also our amazing interactive app we are streaming on. Download from Apple or Android, and you'll be able to listen on the go. Let me acknowledge our sponsors who have made it possible for us to be here. And you know what? They have made it possible. They've been partnering with us all this while. Carrie's Furniture. They are now serving the nation of Ghana, operating from Tema to Community 25. So you can catch them in Ghana as well. But their headquarters is based in Atlanta, Georgia. I'll talk a bit more about them later towards the end of the program. But let me say a big thank you to M&M Concept, amazing global company but based in Accra, Ghana. These guys beat every deadline. And so you've got to connect with them when it comes to banners or all graphic designs. These guys have been partnering with us. Amazing designs that they do, and all merchandise. Let me also say thank you to Mayor Associate. They are project managers when it comes to housing, from commercial to residential. They will be able to do justice to your project. Trustworthy guys, tried and tested. I'll give you all the details at the end of the program. And also, let me say our biggest sponsor, CIG Property, Cornerstone International Group Limited. They are based in the UK. And these guys, if you're looking to invest in properties, whether in the UK or in Africa, look no further. They will be able to partner with you and give you a better value for your money. And so we're ready to roll, all set. But let me say, this song is coming from Akosia Owusua, the worshipper. And the good news is that today happens to be her birthday. Oh my! And she's buzzing in the sun in Accra, Ghana. Akosia Owusua and Mr. the one and only Apostle Seth Ama I salute you. Yesterday was your birthday as well. Husband and wife, congratulations and happy birthday to you. And also all the way in Atlanta, Georgia, All Nations to be precise, is the birthday of Nana Ajua, the powerful worship leader as well. God bless you, woman of God. I celebrate you all, and let me say thank you. And we are ready to roll. I am filled with joy. He does the impossible. He's going to do for you. We thank God for another blessed day whilst we discuss gender equality. I don't know about you, but it's a huge topic, and my guests are all set and we are ready to roll. So let me okay, so right, can you okay, right, we okay, right, okay, I'll sort that out. So let me take time to introduce my guests who are all set and ready to discuss gender equality. Okay. To discuss gender equality, the first is BB Clement. BB Clement. She is a minister of the gospel. She's also an international speaker, an author, and also an entrepreneur. And she's a radio and TV host as well, and has a show on Star Radio UK. So we'll talk about that a bit later on. Bibi, thank you for joining us. It's a joy to have
pleasure.
you. Wonderful, wonderful. Second on the bill is my very own sister, Marie Amwakwa Buedi, and she's a gender and political activist and founder of GEM Diaspora Network, and also UN Women UK delegate to the just ended, I believe, the UN conference on women, I believe, and I stand to be corrected. Is that so? I think you're muted. Yes, Marie, can you hear me? Okay, I think we can't hear you. We can't hear you. But anyway, and also with me in the studio is the one and only Trudy Aarons, and she is the first black female train driver in British history. I will say that 1,000 times because it is a male-dominated industry, and for her to do what God has used her to do, I believe she's a pace setter for the younger generation. She's also been featured in the book Going Home to Mother by Sandra Downs, and that is a great joy. And ladies, you're welcome to Faith Talk once again.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Marie, can you hear me? Okay, we can't hear you. Have you on mute? Are you if you check? Okay, if you speak for me to hear, please. I don't know. I still cannot hear you. Okay, just spell me. Okay, I will just quickly. Okay, so we'll take a quick break and we'll be back in just 2 seconds. Let's enjoy this piece. Hold on.
Mighty Redeemer, you are the giver of life. You raise the dead.
Okay.
You set
my king.
free.
Yeah, me bonum. Yeah.
Mighty Redeemer, you are the giver of life. And I exalt your holy name. I give you all the praise. I give you all the praise. I exalt your holy name. Lord, I give you all the praise. I give you all the praise. You raise the dead, you set the captives free.
Okay.
Mighty Redeemer, you are the giver of life. You raise the dead, you set the captives free. Mighty Redeemer, you are the giver of life. And I exalt your holy name. Give you all the praise. Give you all the praise. Give you all the praise. I exalt your holy name. Give you all the praise. Give you all the praise. Give you all the praise. I give you all. I exalt your name. Give you all the praise. Give you all. I give you all the praise. I exalt your holy name. We exalt you, Lord. Give you all the praise. Give you all the praise. I exalt your holy name. Exalt your name. Give you all the praise. Give you all. Give you all. Father, we give you all. And I exalt your holy name. We exalt your name. I give you all the praise. Lord, I give you all the praise. I exalt we give it all to you, Jesus. We give it all. Give you all the praise. I exalt you. We exalt your name. We give you all the praise.
So we welcome you back to Faith Talk, and we welcome you back to Faith Talk. We are live on Star Radio UK, and let me say that I believe. Okay, quick one. Marie, can you please hear me now? Okay, I still can't hear you, but right. Right, okay. Okay, the technical team is working on that, and I believe we'll be able to get Marie's system working as soon as possible. But then we're going to start off the program, and I believe that you have received the link. Please share and let somebody also share and be blessed. Quickly, I will start off with Trudy, who happens to be in the studio with me, and then I believe that she'll be able to give us a bit of a good story of what caused her or led her, or why she decided to do what she did by becoming a train driver in a space that is male dominated. And I believe that it's a story you have to hear. So Trudy, welcome once again, and if you can draw closer to the mic.
Hello, good evening.
Okay, good evening. And how are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
Wonderful. It's good to have you.
And it's good to be here.
Wonderful. So, when I first heard about your story, I was mesmerized, because it's a male-dominated industry, and that space You hardly hear that a lady or a woman, not to talk about a person of color, being in that space. What prompted you to get into becoming a train driver in the first place?
Well, I all started off as a guard, because you have to start as a guard back in those days before you can become a train driver. Guard, we used to just operate the doors for the passengers at the time.
Okay.
And then a couple of years after, they said they were going to get rid of the guards. And I thought, okay, I need to move on, because I wouldn't have a job if they get rid of the guards. And then I went to be a driver.
So because they told you that they're going to get rid of the guards, so right, okay. And from that point, knowing very well that is a male dominated industry, were you not intimidated by the men?
Yes and no, because I'm a bit of a tomboyish. So I mean, my other female colleagues were more intimidated than I was.
Okay.
Some of them were like drawn to tears with the comments that the people were making. But I wasn't really that intimidated.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, the other thing that I will say is that, how did you take it? And a person of color in a male, was it dominated by
the English mainly?
Okay, so more of not men of color, but
not men of color.
And so as a woman, because we've been, majority of us in our community, we've been taught that this particular trade or profession is for men.
It is for men, because years ago it was also a family thing. So the granddads or the dads would bring their boys or their sons into the field. So it was a lot harder to get into it those days. But I think when I joined, they needed more people from the ethnic minority.
Right.
So they sort of pushed me through so that I can also bring other people in. Yeah.
Okay. And in that, were you inspired by the fact that you were not going to have a job if you don't take that job?
Yes, I was.
So you had bent the bridge. You were not turning back.
No, I'm a very determined person. If I said I'm going to do this, I am going to do it. Nothing can stop me from doing that.
Okay, your first day at work after training.
After training, my first day at work was very scary.
How scary?
When you training to become a train driver, there's always somebody next to you training you and telling you what to do. But as you pass out and become a train driver on your own, there's nobody in the cab with you. You're on your own.
Yeah.
So taking my first train out of Waterloo, there's tracks everywhere.
Why Waterloo?
I was based. That's where I was based. I was based at Waterloo.
Massive station.
Yes, I was based at Waterloo.
Right.
1989.
1989.
So, yeah.
Jesus has done well.
Yes. So
you don't look your age at all.
Thank you.
Please go ahead.
Yeah. So I'm going to say, taking my first train out of Waterloo, I was scared. I was sitting there, was sweating, because like I said, there was tracks everywhere, and first time I'm taking it, I'm on my own. And there were trains coming towards me, and I froze. I taken up. I was driving like probably 10 miles or 5 miles an hour coming out of the station, because I was so terrified taking my first train out. I didn't know if I was on the right track. It was very, very scary. It was, but as it go along, it gets better.
It gets better.
Yes.
I'm going to come back to the journey, your first journey, your first time at work. You've just given us a bit, but I'm going to come back and you give us a bit of the journey, how long it took, and did the passengers realize that the driver is a female and a person of color. And I mean, we're going to dive into that, so thank you. And let me come to Bibi. Thank you. Bibi, your story, I know you shared with us I think 2 weeks ago, isn't it? And I would like you to, as compared to Trudy, what has been your upbringing and why you chose your profession?
Okay, so first of all, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for having me on the show. I also want to salute my sister that just spoke. I want to hear the rest of the story. I just want to hear the rest of it.
We'll get that.
And well done to you for being such a trailblazer for us.
Yes.
But I kind of decided to go into what I originally went into because I just wanted to do something professional, and I wanted to do along my skills. But now my background is law, but now I run a group of companies with my husband. And I went into business because of a number of reasons. One, when I was young, I discovered that people who did well financially were not employees. They were not employees. They were traders and business people and entrepreneurs. So I picked that up very quickly when I was young. Oftentimes, the people that I thought were wealthy, I discovered that a lot of the symbols of what we consider to be wealth actually belonged to the company that they worked for. And when they got sacked or they were retired, all those trappings were removed. Whereas I had another group of friends whose parents were perhaps not as glamorous, or didn't have as many of the symbols of the trappings of wealth that we thought, but they might have a small shop, or they were buying and selling certain things and stuff like that. But in the long term, the second group of people seem to do better financially, and they seem to be able to create generational wealth. So that kind of was impressed upon me at a young age, that those who did well were not employees. So I kind of carried that as an adult, and carried that into what I do now, into entrepreneurship.
Okay, and I believe that from that point of you making that decision, yours is not male dominated per se, because so many women do it, but in terms of experience of getting to where you are, you're a lawyer by profession, apart from the business you do. So in that particular space, have you had have you come to that point where you were intimidated by colleagues surrounding you?
At one stage, I think when I first of all started out, yes, because you're green and you're wet behind the ears and you're not sure what you're doing exactly. I think the intimidation was more cultural and racial, as opposed to a gender thing. But after a while, I guess the more you understand yourself, that actually I belong in the room. I'm just as educated as everybody else. I'm just as good at my job as everybody else, and I belong in the room. That feeds your confidence. But yes, when I first of all started out, it was intimidating, especially if you walk into a room and the legal profession at the best of times is quite stuffy, quite conservative, quite so yes, that in itself was intimidating. But the more I grew in the confidence of who I am and what I know and my experience, that I felt less so.
Okay, thank you for that. And I'm going to come back to you, Bibi, in terms of the your journey now. Before we even talk about gender equality, how the society looks at this particular topic and how we treat it, we'll talk about that. But thank you for the intro. Marie, I know that you've got a lion's heart, and that bravery is that which you intimidate some of the men. And how come you how come you decided to take this path? Oh, I can't hear. Oh my. Hold on.
Can you hear me now?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay.
So, did you hear my question?
I did actually, and good afternoon to everybody.
Good afternoon.
Pleasure being here. Thank you so much, and greetings to your audience as well.
Thank you.
Did you say I was intimidating to men? Is that what you would like?
I'm talking about how you're able to take men on in the political arena, and also when it comes to your advocacy as to taking things to the should I say those that makes decision. In other words, people that are in the helm of affairs, people that are supposed to be making a difference and decision for people in the community. So you're able to gather, you are able to lead, you're able to speak, you are able to get people, rally people to achieve a particular goal. So why this path?
Right, so I think it boils down to what Ms. Bibi Clement just said a few minutes ago. It's about understanding and knowing that you belong in that space.
Right.
And for me, that started, or that came about as a result of me being personally developed, getting myself on that self-development journey. And once I discovered who I was, I got to that point of realization that wherever I find myself, I do belong here. And if I do have something to say, my voice is going to be heard. So that's how I take it, really. Not as a case of, intimidating people or, a male-dominated sector. In terms of politics, for example, it's still very much patriarchal. But wherever I go, wherever I find myself, I come as me, and that's it, really. And there's something that I learned from Oprah Winfrey a few years ago, which has become one of my guiding principles, because there's been very powerful women, in terms of my ancestors who've come and gone before me, and I always draw upon their energies. So what I learned from Oprah was, I come as one, but I stand as many. So I stand on the shoulders of great, powerful women, like Ya Asantewa from Ghana, Miss Maya Angelou, a whole bunch of them, Rosa Parks, the resilience that they had, the resilience that they demonstrated. I stand on their shoulders, and I come as myself, really.
You come as yourself, and I thank you for that. I intentionally said what I said. Not that you harass men, but you see, when you know who you are, when you've got into the stage of your identity, knowing who you are, that there's a place you sit, and people can't mess up with you. That is what I was trying to put across. That the kind of bravery that you exhibit intimidates others that are not in place or in shape or doing the right thing.
But you need to understand as well, Bossman, that type of bravery was being demonstrated in 1989 when I was still at the beginning of secondary school, or somewhere in the middle, when our other beloved sister here was breaking boundaries, becoming the first Black female train driver in the United Kingdom. That's really powerful. So people have been there, done that. You hear their stories, and you sort of just bring all those energies on board, really.
Wonderful. And back to you as an activist. You in this dispensation we find ourselves, as in the social media era, and as compared to the, I don't want to even talk about the 80s, but to talk about the mid-90s coming to the early 2000s, where if you are an activist, there's a tag. But now, I think we have other people, that the synergy is there when you can connect with other people. What is your take on that in terms of female activists?
I think my take on it is that if we're able to come together, then the more powerful we are. So our individual voices can be powerful enough, but we're able to amplify it even further if we come as a collective. We become a force, a powerful force to reckon with. So I've always been a believer of connecting with other women, like-minded women, and whatever the advocacy is that we're pushing in our best interest in terms of equality, equity, etc. It has to be a collective thing. Although we can all do our individual advocacies, but if we're able to come together and stand as one, it's even more powerful, and the impact is greater.
Okay, thank you for that. And That was Marie Amwakwa Bwedu. And if you just join us, you're live on Faith Talk on Star Radio UK. My guests are very powerful in our society. Not powerful because of the word, just using the word, but they are making a huge difference in society and the impact that they are making. That is, you see, if you change one, you've changed almost a community, and I believe that that will also repeat itself. So that is why I'm calling them powerful, because they are trailblazers and pace setters. But we're going to talk a bit more about the main topic before I know Trudy. I'm going to get Trudy to give us the first journey, but I want us to dive into the topic first, and then I'll come back, so that if you're watching us, hey, keep sharing. I know, just send us your questions, your contributions. The phone lines, we're not going to open it, unfortunately, because we want to have more from our guest. So please bear with us. You can send us messages on all our social media platforms, and we'll be more than happy to read it. And so let me come back to Trudy. In terms of the UN International Women's Day that was celebrated on the 8th, they were talking about gender equality. There was this technology and innovation and all those stuff, but I want us to just focus on gender equality. You happen to break that ice in the train sector. How do you feel today as a person that you started the whole game to get the other females in?
I'm very proud to see where I'm at today, and to encourage other females, whether it be females of color, any females, into the job, because it's a very stable job, and it's something that you can go places with it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. In terms of career
wise, you don't have to stay as a driver. You can go up the ladder to be manager. You just don't have to stay there.
Oh, that's
work
interesting.
Your way up. So there's a lot of benefits as well.
There's one funny question that's ringing in my mind, that they say train drivers are always looking for more money. Why?
Because we work very hard.
Because you work very hard. Okay, that's interesting. But talking about the train industry, it's not just about drivers alone, but there's a huge force, a workforce that put things together for the train to move. Yeah. And do you see any equality at this present moment?
I think there is equality for them now. Probably back then, no. But now a lot has changed.
Okay.
Because a lot more doors is open for people to do different things now.
Okay.
That weren't open for us back then.
Was it a fear factor? As in, it's a male dominated, so if you get in, you'll be intimidated, you'll not be treated fairly?
In some cases, some like I say, some people were like that. I'm fortunate that I wasn't one of those people, but there are colleagues that work with me that was like that.
Okay.
They weren't treated very fairly.
Okay. We'll be coming back for the journey, but let me come to Bibi. Bibi, sorry, I'm having some feedback. Okay, Bibi, in terms of equality in the workplace, in the community, what is your take in this present, as compared to about 20 years ago, early 2000s, equality in the workplace and in society as a whole?
Well, we've obviously made some strides. We definitely have. It would be wrong to say that we haven't. We've made some strides. But having said that, I think, going back to the topic of the day, when we were talking on the flyer that we sent out, we were talking about the STEM sector, basically, men and women in the STEM sector.
Yeah.
I think there's still a lot of work to be done there. In fact, it's actually quite alarming. I know in 2022 there was like a 7% increase in women entering into the STEM sector, and that is good news. But if you flip that, if you compare that or contrast that to the number of women who are leaving the sector, then it is alarming. There are about 45% more women than men leaving the sector. And they're leaving, 50% of them are leaving before the age of 35. So clearly there is something in that sector that is saying to them, there is no future for me here. There is no future for me here. And some of the things that they cited as the reason for leaving that sector is, one, there were no opportunities. Two, there were no mentors. There were no female mentors who could make the way for them. And so they're leaving that industry, which is worrying, because that is where we're going. Also, when you look at things like AI needs female participation. It does, because otherwise we're going to have what we have in right now on steroids, if you see what I mean, where, you know, the macho kind of attitude, the I'm going to climb on your back if I need to, I'm going to pull you off that ladder if I need to climb over you, that we're going to have that on steroids in AI if we're not careful. But even if you look at things like the gig society, the gig economy, I was looking at some statistics about Uber, and they were saying that 7% less women than men are Uber drivers, and the women that are Uber drivers are usually young. Once they get to a certain age, they feel that they have no longer able to work in that industry, and there's a huge, I was surprised to discover this, pay disparity even in that industry between men and women. So we have made strides, but there's a lot to do. When you look at the wider society, let's say you look at politics, for instance, and I always like to use Rwanda because I think Rwanda is the best example when it comes to women making progress and strides in the political space. And well, you know, congrats to Rwanda. I can't doff my hat enough to what they've done, how they've made room. And I think they've got about 64% of women in the lower legislative chamber in Rwanda, and see the difference it has made in the strides that Rwanda has made. It's been amazing. But what I found interesting, there was some research by a woman called Justine Ovuza, who had actually advised the president of Rwanda, Paul Kagame, in relation to making room for women in politics. And she was doing a master's in a UK university here, and she decided to go back and do some research as to how the women in politics were now doing. And she discovered that that sense of leadership, that sense of being at the forefront, was only in the public space. It wasn't extending to their homes. So in their private space, they weren't making progress. A lot of the women testified that their husbands still expected them to shine their shoes. There was one particular woman who said her husband expects her to shine her shoes, expects his water to be in the bathroom ready for him, expects his food to be at the table at a certain time, and he didn't want he didn't want her to delegate it to the housemaid. He wanted her to do it. And she found this reverberated through some of the women that she spoke to. So it was a bit disappointing to see that, yes, women have come to the forefront in leadership, in the public face of politics, but behind the scenes there was very little progress being made. They were still relegated to the realm of slightly more than housemaids.
And thank you for mentioning that. It was one of the when I sent my broadcast out, one of the points that I put out was the fact that women, the catalyst in terms of development, accountability, and because I believe, I'm a strong believer. You know what? I don't know if Marie will remember this. I think my first encounter with Marie, I said to her that she was leading on an organization. I said to her that I believe through her organization, one day the nation of Ghana can have a female president. And why did I say that? Because all over the world, if you have a good look, when women are in leadership as politicians, hardly would you ever hear any the kind of things as corruption. You can check. It's not because I'm hosting yourselves, that is why I'm saying this, but anybody that knows me knows that I am a firm believer, and I'll keep to it by the grace of God. So in in that, like as you said, Rwanda is a great example, but will the men ever give that opportunity? Before I go to Marie, what I'm asking is, do you believe that as Rwanda has paved the way, the rest of Africa will ever give the women the opportunity?
Well, I think it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Because if you want to duplicate the success of Rwanda, which is, I mean, everybody agrees is highly attributed to the number of women in government, then it is in our best interest to give more women room. I think also when we have younger politicians coming through, this will become more commonplace. It's because we're ruled generally by old, outdated, outmoded, ideologized group of men, mainly in Africa. But once those ones start dying off, and we have younger ones come through who are a bit more enlightened and a bit more used to gender equality, particularly in the workplace, in the public office, it will begin to turn. I think that the ship will begin to turn.
Okay, it will begin to turn. Marie, let me come to you. In the Rwanda example, and as a political activist, the organization you lead now, GEMS Diaspora, and you train, I know you've been training the politicians and getting them prepared, equipping them. Now, in terms of women leading, ain't it, do you think it's ever going to happen that women, because I know what I'm saying, I'm saying what I'm saying, because if you look at Finland, had one of the youngest female is it prime minister or prime minister? I mean, Finland is one of the greatest countries, peaceful, well cultured people. And look to New Zealand, the lady lady prime minister that
Jacinda Ardern,
that resigned, and Nicola Sturgeon. There's so many of them, and it looks as if when the women are steering the affairs of nations, the ship is on a good course. Why is that?
I think it's just the organizational skills that women have. You know, we are just endowed. It's something that is innate. It's God-given. It's within us. We're nurturers. So it just comes naturally. If we look at COVID, for example, during the period of COVID, majority of the countries that were being run by women, we hardly ever heard anything from them, as opposed to their male counterparts, whom we even saw some of them crying on television. So I think it's just something that women have and what women bring to the table, and it's just, as I said, it's inherent within us. However, if we bring the Rwandan example to Ghana, for example, and I can only speak for Ghana for now.
Okay.
We tried in 2020, during the 2020 elections. We had one side of the political divide present a woman as for vice president. But it was women who kicked against that opportunity. So for me, yes, it was women who kicked against her. And so for me, looking at that, you know, how we're going to balance that parity, or, you know, sort of get that balance right, I don't envision it happening anytime soon. However, that's the more reason why we're having conversations like this, to encourage women to push the agenda. If we look at the parliamentary situation in Ghana, for example, out of 275 seats, there's barely about 40 of them that are occupied by women. It's been almost God knows how many years now, close to about a decade or even more. We still haven't been able to pass the affirmative action bill. So the question is, what are we doing as Ghanaian women? And that's where I was coming from with the whole agenda of Ghana diaspora women, in terms of Ghanaian women living in the diaspora being a part of the conversation. Once again, let me just touch a little bit on what Ms. Bibi Clement said. We're in a technological age. UN Women, CSW 67, is pushing that agenda, women in the digital space. We're in artificial intelligence age at the moment. And even then, there is a major disparity gap. in terms of even people with color. For example, just recently, I'm not sure whether you've heard, but there was an app that was developed to sort out some immigration, status within the Mexican border, and it wasn't able to identify people with our skin tone. During the COVID era as well, I do recall that somewhere in the Middle East, people were not able to access like hand sanitizers from the dispensers because it wasn't recognizing their skin tone. So those are barriers that we still have that needs to be worked on and broken. And then on top of that, we also have to deal with the women's side of things.
Yeah.
So when it comes to women and, disparities, inequalities, etc., gender pay, etc., the conversation is still very much ongoing. We have made progress. We have made progress, but it's still an ongoing conversation, and we need more women to come on board as part of the agency to amplify the conversation.
Okay, thank you. To amplify the conversation, and the campaign needs to be louder, bigger, and better than before. And there's a saying that the elders will always say: when you educate a woman, when you educate a man, you educate one person, but when you educate a woman, you educate the whole community or the family. So I believe that. But let's get back to this. If you've just joined us quickly, I'm going to try and do just about 1 minute read through some of the comments that we do have here on YouTube. Wayne Whitaker says that she does not get the credit she deserves as a black female. She broke a lot of barriers. I believe she's talking about Trudy. Congratulations. You need to be celebrated. It's a great feat that you God has used you to set in place. Okay, so I have I'll be jumping through some of the. Okay, so next Sunday is Mother's Day. Charlotte Odum, Your Excellency, thank you for the messages. Yes, next Sunday is Mother's Day. Hey, women are celebrated almost every. We thank God for that. Okay.
Father's Day.
Father's Day, we feel lonely. Hey, Charlie. Okay, so Joyce Jefferson is also watching us. Charlotte says, okay, know your identity and own it. Yes, sometimes some men can't take that. Okay, advocate together. Right. Is women, I believe this is a question. It says, is women still seen as beauty idols and hence more marketing in beauty enhancement products or services? Angela Merkel, okay, great example. That's true. Finland is the most life productive country to live in. Okay, women are nature. Okay, not greedy. In nature, I believe. Is it in nature or net? Okay, not greedy, oppressive too. I would say most women. Okay, we need men presenters. We need men presenters like you, rallying for. Okay, Charlotte, you have to give me a good pay raise or something like that. Okay, so if you've just joined us, you're live on Star Radio UK, and this is Faith Talk. We're discussing gender equality. The UN celebrated International Women's Day on the 8th of March. And what is your take if you're watching us? What is your take on gender equality? Do you as a man believe that women belongs to the kitchen, or they belong to a particular profession? Do they have the same right as men? In the pay gap, is it something that we can be honest about? Is it something that you believe? And you're a man, you have a daughter. If your daughter becomes the next prime minister, your daughter becomes the next CEO, would you be excited? Why not now, before your daughter gets there, so that the road or the path will be a little bit easier and smoother, just like what Trudy has done. So we're discussing this, and the next set of question is going to be geared towards finding solutions. And let me go back to Trudy about the journey, your first journey, Trudy. I believe people are eager to hear your first journey. From how long did it take? Was it an hour, 30 minutes?
Hour journey, half an hour there, half an hour back.
Okay.
And I was going to Chessington, the zoo.
Chessington.
Yeah, that was my first train I took out.
From Waterloo.
From Waterloo, yeah.
How many stops?
Oh, about 12 stops.
12 stops?
13 stops. Yeah, about that.
Were you shaking?
Only when I left Waterloo, but as I got along, it got better as I went along.
How does it work? I mean, when a train takes off from the station, do you, because I know these days, because of technology,
you have signals. First you got to follow signals.
Okay.
And the signals take you exactly where you're going to.
Right.
Because during the training, that's the whole point of you learning the road, to know where exactly one track takes you. So going to Chessington, it'd be like a straight track, and then you got diversions where you're going to turn off.
And in your first stop from Waterloo, where did you?
Vauxhall would be my first stop. Yeah.
Was your first stop, and how was it like?
Very nervous.
Very nervous.
Very nervous.
And at what point did your passengers get to know that you're a woman of color?
They knew it when I walked up to the train, because I have to pass them to get to the front of the train.
Okay.
So some of them was like coming and peeping in to see if I was a cleaner or what. They didn't believe I was a driver. You know? Yeah.
and to you, getting into that space, your first journey, 12 stops, and so when you get to your last stop, what do you have to do?
When you get to your destination, you'll have to you change ends.
Okay.
You secure the train, and then you walk to the back of the train then, and you drive from that end to go back to Waterloo.
Oh, you are the same person that will take the train back? Okay. Yeah. And when you go back to Waterloo, how was it like?
It was a lot easier, like I said, as I went along. I got more confidence.
Okay.
And I wasn't that nervous. It's just the initial coming out of Waterloo, and like I said, there's tracks. It's like Spaghetti Junction. There's tracks everywhere, and you got trains coming towards you. They're so close. You're thinking, "Oh my God, am I on the right track? Is this train going to hit me?" It was a bit nervous.
It was a bit nervous, and so what was your longest journey?
My longest journey, probably Portsmouth Harbour.
Okay.
Yeah, I took a train to Portsmouth Harbour. That was the old time slam door trains, the doors that you had to open and close yourself, as passengers. That was back in the days.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you had to take the people to Portsmouth. Wow.
But that's a fast train. That hasn't got as much stops as that. It's a fast train.
Did you have any passenger come to you to ask
I think when I got to Portsmouth, there were two ladies on a platform, two English ladies.
Okay.
And they was coming up and they said, "Ooh, did you see that? It's a coloured lady." And they was like surprised when I got out of the train.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's interesting. Yeah. That's interesting. But you've done some amazing stuff. Great. And in terms of passing it on, before you left, did you have the opportunity to get other?
Yes, I got a lot of other females into the field before I left.
Okay.
Yeah.
And were they?
They're still there now.
Oh, they're still there.
They're still there now.
And were they people of color?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you were, in terms of mentorship, you were able to mentor them to get into that. Good.
Yeah.
Good. That's a good.
I think I've opened a gap for a lot of female drivers of color back then. Yeah, because I said a lot of them saw inspiration from me. So yes, you can do it. Then anyone can do it.
As my brother said, he's your manager, so I'll speak to him. We'll be doing some road shows. Thank you for that. And let me come back to Bibi. Bibi, we are at a place at the minute that as in your submission, you mentioned about the digital world and technology and all the stuff. The younger ones coming. There's a key word you mentioned, which I just asked Trudy: mentorship, and more especially in our community. The younger ones are, you know what? They are. I wouldn't say all of them, but majority of them is either a party or social media or things that they can enjoy today and the now. But do we have a generation that we can mentor, or are they ready to be mentored? Do you come across younger ones like that?
Younger ones who want to be mentored.
Yes, and can we mentor them? Can we get them to the space where somebody like Trudy is got into, like Marie, like yourself? Can we get them that are serious to get them prepared to hand over?
Definitely. One of the things that I do is I hold every year in celebration of International Women's Month. I hold a women's breakfast for female entrepreneurs, which I held yesterday actually. And the theme for this year was connection, collaboration, and community.
Right.
And under the community part of it, I gave a talk at that event, and part of the community part of it is ensuring that we look beyond the four corners of our own little world and look at the wealth of our community and provide opportunities, particularly for younger ones, to develop and grow. Especially as mostly second generation Africans in the diaspora, because a lot of our generation were under the illusion, I think we're a bit disillusioned now, but we were under the illusion originally that we were going to go back home. The majority of us that were here, we were going to go back home. I think for many that illusion is shattered. But for our children who have never lived in Africa, it's a whole different ball game.
Yeah.
So now they have to have a piece of this nation. If we don't mentor them, they will not. They will be locked out of the only place they know to be home. So we who are in positions of power or authority or business and entrepreneurship, we have to consciously make an effort to bring them along. I was really happy yesterday to see that a number of the women who had registered for the women's breakfast were young. There was one woman who was in her early 20s. She was working as a lawyer in mergers and acquisitions, and she was talking about how there is no program within her industry, her company, to mentor young black lawyers. And even when she mentioned it there, we were able to say to her, listen, let's have the conversation after this event. Let's see who can help, who can put money together to sponsor that kind of program if you're willing to take it forward, so that our children can find it easier to move through the legal profession. We have a law firm, and one of the things that we are bent on doing, and we've been doing for years, is ensuring that black African law students have a place where they can come for training and mentoring, and a lot of them have gone into the legal profession, and they would never have been able to get into the legal profession but for that opportunity that we gave them. So it doesn't matter what sphere of life that we are in, we've got to start thinking generational. We've got to start thinking of those who are behind and consciously making an effort, not just to mentor them, but to make a way for them, so it's not as difficult. So we have, so that someone like Trudy is not a phenomenon, if you know what I mean. that she becomes a regular. That her, it shouldn't be her breaking a glass ceiling. There should be a million Trudys in that industry. But only us. It's on us to make it happen.
It's on us to make it happen, and I think in our community, one thing that we need to do is to celebrate our own. The jealousy and envy, it's a cancerous thing that needs to be eradicated, because if you fail to celebrate the one that has gone ahead of you, you will never get there. Because appreciate people, and not that they become gods, but you've got to appreciate what God has used them to do.
Amen.
It's key. And as you're saying, like what you've set up, your organization has set up, and also bringing women and most importantly the younger ones. Let me also say, before I go to Marie, let me also ask this question, because it looks like the older generation tend to hold up to their experience, and they want the younger ones to work extra harder for it. Is it a good thing or a bad thing?
I think that's a mistake. I think that's a mistake. I think when it comes to business and entrepreneurship, we and creating generational wealth, I believe that we're supposed to build wealth. So I'm supposed to build to a certain level, and then those who come behind, be it my children or other people's children who are still my children as far as I'm concerned in the community, they should build from there. So I actually feel so strongly about this. I feel that if my children have to start from ground zero again, then in some ways I have failed as a parent. And if you think of that as a community-wide kind of psychology, as a community we have failed if our children have to start from ground zero all over again. So that is a mistake. But I don't believe that that's the general trend right now. I think that the tide has turned. I'm not sure if Maria agrees with me, but I do think the tide has turned. I think there's a greater consciousness that we have to do something for our kids. If they're going to do well in this society, we have to do something. We have to make a way for them. So I think that is changing. One of the things that I don't think we do well, which I would address here, is we don't share knowledge well. So if you find an opportunity in your workplace, you should share it with all your community. If you find an opportunity in business, you should share it with all your community, and so let them take advantage of it. Marie raising me doesn't diminish Marie in any way. It doesn't. So I think it's changing, but more can be done. Marie, I'm not sure what you think about that.
I totally agree. I think the consciousness has shifted. And we need to give ourselves credit in the sense that we are doing more now. And once again, back to Miss Maya Angelou, if you know better, you do better. And I think we are doing better now within our community as opposed to before. Going back to sharing knowledge and information. Sometimes, Bossman, you really can't blame us. If we don't know, we can't celebrate you. For example, up until I received the flyer, I hadn't even thought of a first female Black train driver up until I saw the flyer, and I thought, oh wow, we do have such a person in our community. How come I never knew about her? How do we celebrate her? So for one thing I would suggest to Miss Trudy, for example, is share your story, because it is such a powerful story that we need to hear more about it. I mean, I was delighted to tell I've got 3 daughters. These are 3 Black girls or 3 Black women who now know of the first female train driver in the UK because they were born here. That is an inspiration to them. So I think as well, we mustn't be afraid to share our stories, and it's something we don't often do as women. As a woman, you think, if you walk into a room and you start sharing your story, people will tag you or label you as you're bragging, you're boasting, this, that, the other. But my mother always used to say something which I carry with me now. If you don't say I am, who will say thou art? Nobody will say thou art. So you you've got to share your own story. I do agree as well. Again, we need to share the information. So similarly to Miss BB Clement, I'm organizing a Zoom tonight with a group of women from all over. I've got women joining from Canada, from the UK, from Ghana, and it's all about sharing. So, because I was blessed a couple of weeks ago to be accepted onto the UN Women's Delegate for 2023. Whatever I'm learning there, I'm sharing immediately. I'm not just keeping it to myself, because I believe in disseminating the information and encouraging and empowering women to also then go on and pass it on. And that's the only way we can cause that ripple effect and become more empowered within our community.
And become more empowered within our community. I want to also, in trying to conclude or summarize and draw the curtains, the women, the men, I mean, I can deal with them. Let me say it as it is. There are some men that are intimidated by the position their wives or even their sisters attain, and in that, let me narrow it to husband and wife in the home, and a man is intimidated because the wife is doing so well. They are climbing the ladder. They are soaring. They are shining. They are being praised out there. And when they get home, instead of the man to encourage and embrace and stick together, it turns into a war at home. Now, my question is, if the Lord Jesus Christ had women at the forefront of his ministry, they were the people that were first to be at the tomb, and they were the main, the backers, giving their finances and everything to support and to push the ministry of Jesus Christ. In our dispensation, in our culture, we are told that women are supposed to be the neck. It is true. There's no challenge about that. But where do we draw the line that the man is the head, the woman is the neck, and so the positions have to be outlined for everybody to play their part? I'm saying that because in our community, we don't have a very good structure except a few. So there's so much confusion. Whilst there are two powerful, intelligent people that believe that they love God, I'm using the word believe that they love God, and still there's so much confusion because this the woman is up there doing well in their career, but the man, because he's also not being able to get there, there's that confusion. As a woman, I'm throwing this to the three of you. As a woman, if you are in this situation, what should you be doing? And not just what should you be doing, because the men will say it's easy to talk than to act. So what should you be doing, and what have you encountered? Do you have any experience like that? So I will, let me start with Trudy.
No, I can't. No, I haven't had an experience of that. To be honest. No, and I've always had a partner that encouraged me, and we sort of build together.
Okay.
Yeah. So
which is a plus for you, but if for somebody that they have the potential, they are career women or a woman, and they are doing well, they are flying. A lot promotion.
of men can't deal with it. A lot of men cannot.
Why do you think that?
I think because they become less of a man. They think they be less of a man because you're like taking over their kind of roles.
And as a woman, if that happens to, if you are that person, what do you do at home? Is it how you handle yourself at home, or you bring your job back home?
I don't know how to handle myself at home. You just have to be the woman at home and then take it from there, really.
But that's the difference.
You're still being professional, but he has to understand that you're not trying to take away his role.
Okay.
You're more higher up than he is, academically or whatever it may be, and he hasn't reached that goal, but you can help him, you can help each other to get where they want to go.
Okay. There's so much on my mind. Let me come to Bibi. Bibi, have you had that experience? Have you had to deal with somebody, or have you had to deal with that yourself? And why would a man be intimidated by your progress, your success?
Well, first of all, I'm very happy to report that has not been my story. That's not been my story.
I like that. That has not been your story.
My husband is very comfortable in his own skin. He's very confident about who he is. And so, on the contrary, he has just created an environment where he has allowed me to fly and just be the very best that God can allow me to be. So I'm really happy to say that that's not been my story. But I know that in my community, that's not always the case. I think, there are a lot of reasons for it, both on the fault of the husband and on the fault of the wife. One is, I think it reveals fundamentally a deeper problem. One Sometimes issues with the man himself, with his own sense of self-esteem and stuff like that. That's an issue on its own, and that it can be very complex, and sometimes it's just insurmountable. That's the honest truth. But there are other reasons why I think it's a misunderstanding, a fundamental misunderstanding of what marriage is about. You're on the same team. So whether my husband is making more money, bless God for that. If I'm making more money, bless God for that. The way we operate, his money is my money is his money. So it really isn't an issue. Now, having said that, there are some women who make the situation worse. The minute she starts earning a little bit more than the husband, she's God in the house. So I often think that, you know, because I'm in the public space, I do a lot of public speaking and things like that. I often say to myself, listen, baby, you know, God might be using you here, but when you get off this stage, you are Mrs. Clement, and Mr. Clement has to eat. So I try to make sure that he has his food. Try to be respectful to him. I don't know what succeed. I'm sure he would say there are times I lose my temper and say what I shouldn't say. But generally, I try to be respectful and understand the fact that biblically he's the head of the house. And the head of the home has nothing to do with how much I'm earning. It's got nothing to do with that. That is how God planned it. And I'm submitting to him before I submit to my husband.
Bibi, sorry to interrupt you, but the statement you just mentioned, how much you earn, does not how much you earn. And that is always, I mean, the critical issue, the vital issue is about how much you earn. I happen to be in the space with a boy, a young gentleman of color, and the girlfriend, or in quote, the fiancée, was a white lady. And the lady started, I think the lady is a doctor researcher, and she started intimidating the guy with that, how much you earn? Why did I even why am I even having you as my fiance? I don't know what came over me. So I'm saying this for a reason that it's about the figures, about how much comes into the account every week or month. And that is where the issue is. Please go ahead.
That's the way I see it. I mean, for someone like that, the guy's not even married yet. Why would you even want to marry a woman like that, to be honest? Why would you want to marry a woman like that? But I don't think it should be dictated by how much is in your bank account. My husband is my husband. He's the head of the home. If he was penniless, he'd be the head of the home. The fact that he has money, he's still the head of the home. It's irrelevant to me. I'm submitting to the position, and I'm submitting to him. So, and I'm going to keep doing that, doesn't matter what.
Powerful. Thank you. Marie, any experience, any time that you had to deal with something like that, with other people bringing it to you, or experience?
Once again, I've been blessed not to have experienced that. Thankfully, God has given me a wonderful husband who supports me, and in fact, he's always pushing me. You've got to live it. You know, you have to do it. So I'm blessed. But I think money is a magnifier. So again, to support what both panelists have said, money will only magnify who you are as a person. That's all it is. And I always like to give a scenario. Thankfully, we're all God people here, so we can bring in the God factor.
Yes.
I always look at the scenario of the Trinity: God, the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. There's no power struggle amongst the three of them. Everybody knows their place. Everybody just gets on with what they're supposed to do. It's the same in marriage. You know, I'm the woman, I know my place. My husband's the man, he knows his place. I know he's the head. Just as Miss Clement said, I submit to the God in him. I submit to the authority in him. He's my head, he's my priest, he's my protector. Everything God is to me as a spiritual father, he is to me as an earthly partner. You know? So I submit to that authority, and that's about it. We see each other as partners rather than the head, the neck, this, that, the other. We're partners. And if you're able to see yourselves as, as equals, then we complement each other. So where he's down, if I have, I'm lifting him up. If I'm down and he's lifting me up. That's how, we've sort of understood marriage to be. But money is a magnifier. So I think people need to educate themselves in terms of money, finances, get the financial education, change your mindset, and you'll be good to go. Money really shouldn't cause any problems, any such problem in this day and age. Plus, again, bringing it back into our community, I think we've seen some good examples now in recent years. For example, Barack Obama and Michelle Obama, an adorable couple. We saw it work. The current Vice President of the United States of America and her husband, we haven't heard anything. I reference Oprah Winfrey a lot because I've learned so much from that woman. I remember an interview where she was asked similar question in terms of she being the first African American billionaire, female as well, and her partner's position in terms of her money. And all she said was, Stedman knows who he is. You've got to know who you are as a human being. Who did God create you to be? Because again, I don't know why I'm quoting Miss Clements and all that. I think the self-development thing. If you were stripped of everything, me being the first black female train driver, me being the first female lawyer, the first female prime minister, first female president, this, that, the other. If you're stripped of all these things, the fundamental question, the biggest question I call in life is, who are you? Who are you as a person?
Yeah.
So maybe a little advice to men is begin to see your women, whether she's the highest earner or not, as equal.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, and we'll be wrapping up very, very, very soon. Let me read this from, it says Team Bombastic. Okay. He says, congratulations to the women on the platform. Women are the source of life. Equal pay and equal opportunities should be there for them. My wife is not for the kitchen, is not for laundry. I do the same. Okay. Okay. I think that's a good one. That's a very good one. Is it Team Bombastic? Powerful. Money is a definite magnifier. Okay, true talk. Thanks. Okay. Even if you are a woman leading women, you become a target by the men, because you are liberating the other women in their grips of domestic violence and sexual harassment. I mean, there's no time to dive into even domestic violence. That's a huge topic. I think one of these days we'll have to dive into it, because that's huge. That is
violence against women. Yeah.
Yes, that's huge. That's huge. And some of the videos, if you see them, it's like the men are from another planet. So we'll get time and discuss that. But in wrapping up, in terms of the future, equality when it comes to pay, when it comes to the workplace, when it comes to politics, every other area or sector, can women be trusted? I know it's a straight answer, but can women be trusted with the country or with the community? We know the family, fantastic work, because I say women are able to endure much more than men. The pain a woman can go through, a man will start crying before they start going through. So can a woman be trusted with a country? I know there is the Rwanda example that Bibi gave, but my question is, can a woman, I'm talking more about the next generation, because as Bibi mentioned, where we're coming from the Caribbean, from Africa, you've been trained up. You dare not make that mistake. You will be put to where you belong. But the next generation, that's my focus. Can they be trusted to get out of the space of social media to focus on a career that will turn their lives around and shape them to become responsible and take over from us? Let me start with Trudy. Do you want to go?
I think they can, because I've got a granddaughter. She's 15.
Okay.
And from she was younger, she said she always wanted to be a dentist, and that's where she's going. I think once you plant certain things into the kids, they grow up to be that kind of individual, what they want. They have to have goals to say, I want to do this or I want to do that. And I think if you do that to your children from young, they will grow up to be whatever they want to be.
So we need to plant the seed.
Yes, we need to plant that
early enough to get them going.
Exactly.
But you know something, we sometimes destroy the seed with our own words as parents. I mean, this afternoon I was telling, I was in church and I was telling the congregation that we can destroy what we've planted with our own words.
Only if you're giving the kids negative things, because you can say, oh, you're not going to make it, you're not going to be this, then it will be destroyed, because they get that in their mindset that I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to be able to do that. But if you give them positive things to do, or positive things, mindsets, I think they can do it.
Okay. I believe they can do it. Okay, Marie, can we hand over, I mean, yourselves as women, to the next generation? Are they ready to take over? Can they be trusted to take over and occupy the space that we expect them to?
A resounding yes, they can. Because if it's generational, then I think we need to understand that our mother's generation might have, had their own issues as well. But there were women who were trailblazers. Same as our grandmother's generations, all the way up until us. So moving forward from our generation onto the next generation, regardless of how some of the youth are presenting themselves, yes, we can turn things around, and I think we are already doing so. Having the conversation through the mentorship, reaching out to them, and so on, teaching them to set their goals, as Miss Trudy was saying, having goals, having all these ambitions, teaching them to believe in themselves, have self-confidence, etc. High self-esteem, and so on and so forth. So yes, but also, most importantly, allowing them to make mistakes. We must create that room for people, human beings, women, young girls, to make as many mistakes as they can. Because the actual experience and the learning is in the mistakes.
Marie, just 1 second. But can we tolerate their mistakes? Because when Trudy was speaking, that is what I was going to say.
When you say we, who is we?
I mean, I'm talking about our generation, the older generation. Can we, as parents, tolerate their mistakes? Because some parents will want to even, I don't want to use the word, they will want to just crush the kid for making a mistake.
I think it was Joan Collins who said, show me somebody who hasn't made a mistake before and I'll show you somebody who hasn't lived. So who hasn't made a mistake? Who has the right to tell another human being that you're not allowed to make mistakes? We were created to make mistakes, and we learn from our mistakes. Those then become our experiences. And as they say, as the saying goes, experience is the best teacher. So if we don't make the mistakes and allow the kids to make mistakes, how do they learn? So going back to your initial question, I think yes, we can hand over to the next generation. I think they have the wherewithal, they have what it takes. We just need to keep empowering them, encouraging them, showing them the way and the examples, and they're good to go.
Okay, they're good to go. And Bibi, in terms of the next phase of the, I'll narrow it down to our community, the pressures from every side, from sometimes from the home, but most especially from peers, from all these social media thing, and the kids leave home nice and beautiful, they come back with all kinds of unnecessary tattoos and all kinds of strange stuff, and you see your daughter walk out or your son walk out and they come back, you can't even recognize them. Can we still trust them? Is there a way to get them to listen to us and take over from us as parents?
Yeah, by all means, definitely. I mean, it's not as if to say all our kids are going off the rails.
Yeah.
So definitely, but a lot of work has to be done, just like my colleagues have said, and that work has to be done very early on. I think if you start trying to steer your kids in their teens. It's too late. It's too late. You need to start exposing them to the right kind of people. My sister Marie has talked a lot about people like Maya Angelou, Oprah, exposing them to those kind of people, because sadly those kind of people seem to be dying out. We don't have those are the kind of people who shaped us. And our young ones have, like, heaven forgive me, but they have people like the Kardashians now. They don't have people of good substance.
Yeah.
Showing them, what life's like. One of the problems that I have, or one of the issues I have in relation to the question that Marie answered about younger people, two things. One, I see in them a lack of fortitude. Because I lecture. One of the things I do is I'm a part-time lecturer, and I see these young kids. I don't see that fortitude that we had, the ability to withstand the dramas, the traumas, the spears of life. I don't see that, and I think if they're going to take up positions in the future, they have attitude. The second thing is social media. Social media has made them look.
Bibi, your line got distracted for I think about 5 seconds. If you can repeat that, please. Yeah.
All right. I don't know what the last thing was that you had. I said one of the ingredients that I think is important for success. I find is somewhat lacking in the younger generation, and that's fortitude.
Yeah.
The ability to withstand the ills of life. I don't see in them. The slightest thing seems to face them, and I'm not trying to play down the importance of the magnitude of the problem of mental health issues, but now it seems like the slightest kind of opposition in any way, shape, or form is labeled with that.
Yeah,
that's true.
I find it. It's almost like we've created a monster.
Yeah.
I don't know how to put it. And then social media has given a false impression of life to our children. It has made them, it has taken out the process of the journey to success. And made it look as if to say you wake up one day and everything is good, and nobody posts a bad picture. You never see anybody post a picture where they just look like a human being. Everybody looks like they woke up like $1 million. So that social media has given it such a distorted picture of life, and our children have bought into that picture. And so they wake up and they want to be successful, and they want to be this and they want to be that, and they think it's they just click their fingers and it's going to happen. Social media has removed the process, and nobody becomes successful without the process. But just like the Lord says, He says that He orders our steps. He ain't ordering the elevator. There's no elevator to success. It is steps. And so we have to get that message into our kids that, listen, what you see on social media, it isn't real. It's not real. You are going to have to go through the process. There are going to be times you're going to cry. There are going to be times you're going to fall down. There are going to be times you're going to make mistakes and fail. But that's all part of your journey. And you're just going to have to accept that and go through it if you want to get to where you want to go.
Wow. Okay.
Well, can I just add a little bit to what Mr. Clement had just said?
Yes, please go ahead.
Even in terms of patience.
Yeah.
As an adult, if somebody sends me a video now that is more than 2 minutes, I struggle to watch it. Why? Because we've all been shaped into uploading things that are not more than 30 seconds long.
Yeah.
So you can imagine the impact it's having on younger people now, the youth, in terms of not having that spirit of long suffering, the fruits of the spirit, long suffering, endurance, and all these things, because everything is so quick fix. And so it comes back to us having the conversation with the youth and letting them know that is not the real world, and teaching them what real values are.
Real values. I love that. And 30 seconds for everybody. It's International Women's Week. Next week is Mother's Day. So next week is going to be another. We'll be celebrating mothers. But Trudy, I'm going to start with you. What message do you have for women as you celebrate International Women's Day, and it's been almost the whole week, and next week is Mother's Day? What a beauty.
I think you should be yourself. And once you be yourself, you could be anybody that you want to be, and set goals for yourself. I want to do this. I'm going to achieve this. And go for it. There's nothing that you can't do.
Wow. I love that. That's a giant speaking, and that's straightforward, that's powerful. And Bibi, your message for the women as we celebrate this week.
The same as Trudy's, really. Listen, life is too if COVID showed us anything, it showed us that life is too short. Too short for us to be doing anything other than what we were born to be and do. Don't waste time doing anything else, because the last thing you want is to get to the end of your journey and all you have to think about is all the things that you should have done, could have done, would have done, but you never did. So make sure that is not your story, that you live life full and die empty.
Oh my, I wish we can go on and on. Marie, well, give us a message for the women.
First of all, I want to salute and honor the women on the panel, Miss Trudy, Miss Bibi Clement. I salute you both. And to all the women out there, as the other panelists have said, you are blessed, you are loved, you are endowed with gifts, talents, and abilities. Go out there and let the world experience you.
Oh, wow. Wow. And let me say, I'm going to read this to Trudy. Trudy, can you believe that the author for the book that you have been featured in, Sandra Downs, is watching you live, and she says an interesting and necessary discussion. Congrats, ladies. A special hello to Trudy. So what a beauty. And
thank you.
Micah Preku says, I believe the coming generation can avoid mistakes by being obedient to older generation. Reverend Dr. Micah Preku, thank you for the comment. And Apostle Solomon says, enjoying the show. Thank you as well. Quickly, before we wrap up, Brini Brown says there are women that is quite capable of leading and making a good job of it. Thank you. Sonia Francis says, great inspiration. Charlotte Odum says, thank you, Bibi, for shedding light on fortitude. Social media has eliminated the process, real values. So, ladies, I'm privileged. I'm so honored to have you, and it's a great joy to have you. And I believe that God orchestrated this for us to be together, to share, to encourage, to empower. And I believe in the end, transformation is inevitable.
Amen.
If people can put to work what they have heard. And so, Trudy, Bibi, Marie, thank you for joining us. And
thank you for having us.
Thank you so much. Have a blessed weekend. A happy Mother's Day ahead of time. And I believe that we'll be celebrating you in a grand style.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on the show.
We'll be doing something different this year. Thank you so much, Bibi. Thank you. Thank you, Marie. Thank you. All right. And so you head it off yourself. It's been a good time on Faith Talk. Oh, wow. Women can do a lot with a little you give them. And if you've not been inspired, I don't know what else you can do. So Sandra Downs, I believe that I'll speak to Trudy, and we'll have to do a book review for is it Going Home to Mother? Going Home to Mother. We'll possibly have to review that book on the show. We'll plan that and have that review, because it's stories of other
people that's done well from Barbados. People from Barbados.
People from Barbados, and okay, so different people.
Yeah,
powerful.
Came into this country and done things for themselves.
Wow, awesome stories, and I think it will be an inspiration. So we'll talk about that. And so thank you so much. If you tune in, you know what, you've not missed. If you just join us, you can do a replay on YouTube, on Twitter, also on Periscope, on Facebook, also on www.starradiouk.com, and on our amazing interactive app. It's Star Radio UK. Just search that on Apple or Android store, and you'll be able to listen on the go. And let me say a big thank you to all our sponsors and our viewers across the globe. Okay, so also Martin holder. Great talk, Trudy is great. Oh, your fan base is awesome, Trudy. Wow. And let me your manager is still waiting. He's here.
My PA.
Your PA. He's a good brother. He's a good brother. So helpful. Quite. I mean, ever ready to help. Ever ready to help. God bless you, my brother. So let me say a big thank you to all our sponsors from Kerry's Furniture. If you're looking for furniture, you want it delivered to your doorstep. If you happen to be in Europe, Asia, or America, look no further. It's Kerry's Furniture, and they are based in Atlanta, Georgia. All you need to do is connect with them on either Instagram or Facebook. Type Kerry's, that's Kharis, Kharis Furniture, and just send them a message. They'll send you the catalog. Look for what you're looking for. Mention Star Radio UK. 15% discount will be waiting for you, because it's got to do with Kerry's, where affordable but quality furniture you can get for your home, for your hotel, for your whether commercial or private. Hey, they'll be able to deliver as long as you mention Star Radio UK. Your 15% discount will be given to you. And also, let me say a big thank you to Mayor Associates. If you happen to be in the diaspora and you have a project in Ghana and you want a company that is responsible to take care of that project for you, look no further. Mayor Associates are a project management company based in Accra, Ghana, that will from conception to completion give you value for money. So look no further. If you can give them or give us a call on 0208 133 2258. That's 0208 133 2258, and we'll be able to connect you to them. And also, let me say a big thank you to M&M Concept. M&M Concept. This is an amazing company that are into graphic designs and all merchandise, pull-up banners, all kinds of banners, t-shirt, key rings, mags. Hey, look no further. Your flyers, your book covers, they'll be able to design that for you. Katie and the team are ever ready to deliver and meet your deadline. You know what? These guys are experienced, close to 2 decades of service to nations. And so all you need to do, if you want to come through us, is 0208 133 2258. That's 0208 133 2258, and we'll be able to connect you. And let me also say that they can deliver the tightest of time and give you value for money. And also, last but not the least, is CIG Properties. You know what? That's Cornerstone International Group Limited. If you're looking for a company that can be trusted when it comes to property management, property maintenance, property sale or lettings, if you're looking for a company to get a mortgage for you, look no further. You know what? It's CIG Properties. www.cigpropertyuk.com. That's cigpropertyuk.com, and connect with them if you're also looking to invest either in the UK or in Africa. Then your best source is CIG Property. CIG Property. You know what? This is what I'm going to do, because today happens to be the birthday of two powerful gospel artists on the same day. I never knew. And these are two friends, and the song in the background is coming from Akosia Owusua, and that is The Worshipper. And you have this today happens to be your birthday. Your husband's birthday was yesterday. Our apostle Seth Ama. God bless you guys. Enjoy to the max. And as you're based in, I mean, you're on holiday. God bless you, and more power to you. May the Lord continue to increase and prosper you, strengthen you, and give you more than you deserve. He does the impossible. And let me say a big thank you to Pastor Archie Hammond, for producing the show. Thank you ever so much. And a big thank you to all my guests. That is Miss Trudy Aaron, the first black female train driver in the United Kingdom. How amazing is that? An intimidating space to get to, but she's done it. You can do it. That's the good news. Be inspired.
This is Star Radio UK.
Thanks for listening.
You know what? Let me say a big thank you to Marie Amwakwa Bwedu, gender activist, the founder of Gem Diaspora Network. Not forgetting BB Clement, an entrepreneur and minister of the gospel, businesswoman, lecturer, a lawyer as well, multiple trades, blessed. And thank you to you that you tune in this and every Sunday from the hours of 4 p.m. to 6. We will be swimming, but you know what? Hey, never lose sight. Next week is Mother's Day. We have a surprise for you. It's going to be awesome. So make a date with us. But guess what? On Thursday, I will be here with my co-host Vicky Newton. We will be talking about properties, as we always do, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. If you want to learn about properties, you want to get into the property business, if you want to buy, if you want to speak to the expert, tune in 7 p.m. on Thursday. It's going to be good. Let's go. So I'm wrapping up now and saying a big happy birthday to Nana Adjua, all the way in Atlanta, Georgia. The gospel artist that when she stands to minister, the presence of God, the power of God is evident in the space wherever you are. All Nations Carries House in Atlanta, Georgia. God bless you. Papa and Mommy, God bless you. Reverend, my bishop, my one and only prophet, Bishop Frank Ofoswapia, and Mama Reverend Mrs. Mary Ofoswapia. I salute and honor you and thank you. We thank God for your life. God does the impossible. We all set and ready. And you know what? Next week, I believe starting from the 14th, IS 2023, with Reverend Dr. Frank Ofoswapia. You can't miss it in the nation of Ghana, Accra to be precise. It's happening. Some of the powerful men of God, Dr. Poeneche is going to be there. Reverend Eastwood Anaba is going to be there. The host himself, Prophet Brian Amwatin, is going to be there. The IGP of Ghana is going to be there. This is going to be something else. And you've got to be there. So many powerful guests are going to be on IS. IS is a youth program to empower the youth, to get them to know God and their place in the kingdom, and so you don't want to miss it. And so we'll be giving you more updates as we go along. And tomorrow 10 a.m. join Archie and the team as they bring you the morning show. Thank you. God bless. No stress, nothing less. And my brother,
you were great. All the glory and honor to you.
The impossible you do. That is why you were Lord. The mighty things you do.
You know what? I nearly made a mistake. But then let me say a big thank you to the one and only, the manager for Miss Trudy Aaron. the PA, the manager, the leader, the governor, the president of Miss Trudy Arons is in the studio. My brother Everton. This man, I love him. Maybe he's forgotten. It's done me some good. I needed some training for my church, the team, and he organized everything. We wanted to rehearse. He was there to help us. You know what? God bless you. This world, you've got to do good, because whatever you do leaves with you. You receive the fruits or the harvest later on. Every good seed you sow. And this man has been a very good man, very consistent, focused, a good heart man. But Everton, God bless you. I appreciate you so much. God bless you and more power. So this week, be blessed. This week, know that the Lord is with you. Everything, you heard the women, everything you put on your heart to do, set a goal and go for it. You'll be able to achieve it if you do not give up. Giving up is not an option, but you've got to try than not to try. And so this week, come back to us with your testimony that as long as God sits on the throne, whatever you want to do, if you put your mind to it with prayer, supplication and thanksgiving, faith backing it and moving, you will be able to do it. So this week you will come back with your testimony. Go for that gold, go for that goal. It is possible. When men say it's impossible, God makes it possible. And so believe in the Lord your God, and you will be established. Believe also in his prophet, and you will begin to prosper. May the Lord honor you and bless you. His face shine upon you and open doors unto you. May the Lord cause you to walk in your highways and your worthy place, and know that every sickness has an expiry date. If the devil has attached it to you, you have the authority and power given to you. Go check the scriptures and activate it, and speak the word of God as Jesus spoke. Command it to depart, and it has that thing in at the mention of the name Jesus. It will depart, it will vanish, it will be melted, because the power of God is resident in his word. The power of God is resident in the name of Jesus Christ, and God has the capacity and the ability, with his integrity attached to make all grace abound unto you, that you will not fail, you will not be limited, you will not be grounded or frustrated, because he that lives on the inside of you is greater than what you are facing. What you see is temporary, but what you cannot see, as your spiritual eyes are open, you can do much more. And so believe that you can do it. God will help you. God bless you. I'm KBA Bossman. It's a privilege to come your way with Faith Talk. I believe you've been blessed. Share it. Share and share and share, and let somebody be blessed. Thank you. And good night. And it's still morning in Australia, isn't it? And it's also it's at night in Australia. And China, our fans in Jiangsu province, Sophie, John, and Eric. God bless you guys, and more power. Good night.
Thanks for listening.
Sit back, relax.
The mighty things you do, that is why you are mighty. The greater things you do, that is why you are great. All the glory and honor to you.
The impossible you do, that is why you are Lord. The mighty things you do, that is why you are mighty. The greater things you do, that is why you are great. All the glory and honor to you.
talking, we keep on rocking.
Glory and honor to your name. You are Lord. Lord.
The impossible you do. That is why you are Lord.
The mighty
things you do. That is why you are mighty. The greater things you do. That is why you are great. All the glory and honor to you.
The impossible you do.
The impossible you do. That is why you are Lord. The mighty things you do. That is why you are mighty. The greater things you do. That is why you are great. All the glory and honor to you.
Your name is higher than other name. Victorious in all your ways. In your name we overcome. You are Lord.
Your name is higher than other names.
Glorious.
Victorious in all your ways. In your name we overcome. You are
Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening. While the others keep on talking, we keep on rocking.
That is why you are Lord.
The mighty
things you do. That is why you are mighty.
Broadcasting live online.